Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Excellent to see so many of you popping by for today's student bulletin. So we've got Heather saying hello, John, who sounds like he just went on an early morning bike ride, which is great. Way to get after it early in the morning, John. We've got Robert checking in, Bonnie, Jason's in Colorado. Let's see, who else? We've got so many people joining us. Corinne, Tina, Inna is here, Carol's here from Long Island, Deb's in Brooklyn. We've got Kat and Maria. Excellent. So good to see all of you. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to jump right into sharing some student art. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and students are working on all sorts of challenges of their own in the schoolyard, and also getting pretty pumped up for our upcoming workshop. I wanted to share some art from students that have been working on the 30 by 30 direct watercolor challenge. So if you haven't heard about that, Mark Taro Holmes actually hosts it, and Liz Steele has also been posting about it. But it's 30 watercolor paintings in 30 days. And Emma has been working on it, and she did this beautiful little quick sketch of the side of her house while staying in the shade on a really hot day. And another student, Ginger, has also hopped back into watercolor. And I just love the simplicity of this landscape that she created. And I think it's appropriate in the summer that, watercolor is something that we're kind of exploring. You have access to water, I presume. I know some students take their kit with them and draw on location and use water from bodies of water near them, which is kind of fun. But I think it's a great season to play with watercolor. So thanks to Ginger and Emma for sharing that. And if you're in the mood for a challenge, the 30 by 30 direct watercolor challenge is happening right now. I'm sure you could just dive in if you want. And that challenge, if you Google it, is hosted by Mark Taro Holmes. And it features one watercolor painting every day for 30 days. So it's an excellent little Kickstarter. Other students have been chipping away at their homework assignments in our boot camp course, which we love the boot camp class because it's a really great beginner course for people, and we love seeing the progress that students make there. It's really a pretty pivotal class for a lot of students who are just getting started. Pedro did this blind contour assignment a few times, and I love that Pedro put these images together into one little trio. And I love seeing kind of how the drawings changed as he worked on blind contour drawings and contour line drawings. Some blind, some not. Another student, Bia, is also working on Art Boot Camp, and she really wanted to practice her cross-hatching. And I just love that she kind of set up this little worksheet of her own for lots of different spheres with lots of different cross-hatching, hatching, and stippling approaches. I actually think it made for a nice little drawing. So thanks for sharing your homework, Bia, from Art Boot Camp. And it looks like we've got a bunch of other people trickling in, which is fantastic. We've got Archway Studios from Switzerland. Helen is here, watering her plants. Estee, Celeste, Nora, Stephanie, Martine is here. Karen, Thorane. This is great. So thanks for joining us. Some other student art. Students have been working in our Be an iPad Artist course, doing lots of digital drawings in Procreate. And I really love it when students kind of mixed mediums. And so this student, Albert, used a brush pen as his kind of initial jumping off point, and then did the rest of this drawing in Procreate. And I just love the textures that he was able to achieve here. I think it's really fantastic. And another student, Eliza, she did this beautiful portrait, and she actually did this, I think, in pen or pencil, and used a really beautiful ink color in that background. And then she put it in Procreate and added some more line work. So Eliza kind of did a little mixed media portrait here, putting it into Procreate on her iPad and adding some finishing touches. So I love seeing how you guys experiment with digital media, but you still get that hand-drawn kind of artsy feel, which I love. Another student who's experimenting with different materials, Lydia created this really beautiful mixed media piece using jelly prints, which jelly printing is a sort of acrylic, I'm going to butcher this, but we do have an expert, Sally McDonald, in the schoolyard who could tell you all about it. But jelly printing is this really cool way to make mixed media reproductions of parts of your images, and other ways to kind of play with monoprinting. And I love that Lydia created this. This was titled Family Tree, and I think it turned out really lovely. Another student, Kat, is reading a book by one of our instructors, Felix Scheinberger. He has a book out called Dare to Sketch, which is a really good book. And she was experimenting with portraiture styles that Felix kind of talks about in his book. And I love the way that Kat created these little whimsical characters. I love the way their little teeth turned out. So check out that book by Felix Scheinberger. It's called Dare to Sketch. It's a great book. It's a beautifully done book, lots of his artwork. And Kat was inspired to create this, which I think turned out really fun. Another student, Anne Julie, she did this beautiful spread, and I'm going to make this a lot bigger because you can't really see it. She did this to document a trip that she recently took. And even though some of us can't travel right now, I love the idea of documenting a trip or an adventure, maybe even something you did in the past, using these little cells, these little squares to kind of make up a bigger page. And she even included a map there on the other page. So even for some of us that can't really travel right now due to current restrictions, I think this is a really fun way to create a spread, maybe based on a memory or based on a trip that you took previously. So Anne Julie, that was lovely. Thank you for sharing it. And another student who she talks about in her post, kind of losing track of her imagination and wanting to keep those skills fresh. Kim created this whimsical and very elaborate drawing based on memories and some of her favorite things growing up, just some real elements that kind of make up her character, and she included them all in a drawing. And this definitely has a dreamlike quality. I'm going to make it a lot bigger. And it kind of acts like an I Spy, exercise, because you're looking around at all these references. And for Kim, this was just a fun little portrait of kind of who she is as a person. And it made me wonder, what I would put down on a page if I drew this kind of fantastical scene that represents who I am. So I loved how that turned out. And I think it's beautiful. And she was worried about losing her imagination. But I think with this really fun and, kind of magical drawing, I think Kim definitely got a handle on her imagination. So I loved that. And it looks like a few of you are commenting on Dare to Sketch. Yes, some of you have gotten it from the library. It's really a fantastic book. Definitely one of those books that you check out a few times and then you realize, okay, if I've checked this book out 5 times in the library, I should probably just save up my pennies and buy it. I think it's definitely one of those titles for a lot of people. A lot of people added that to their bookshelf. Now, for moving on to our drawing moment together, to kick off this Friday with some drawing. I know last week, for those of you that were here, we focused on Juneteenth, and we focused on a pretty powerful quote from James Baldwin. And I spent the last few days, the past week, just thinking about how there's a lot of stuff obviously going on in the world right now. But amidst all of that, I think it's still really important to do something for yourself and give yourself some time and some space, and really remember that you need to practice self-care so that you can keep your energy up, that you can, keep doing whatever it is you need to do, but you do need to take care of yourself. And I think one of the ways that we take care of ourselves is by having fun and playing. And for this prompt for today's little drawing that we're going to do together, I'm going to start this timer over. I want you guys to focus on something that you're going to do for yourself this weekend. So if you're like John, maybe it's a bike ride. For me, my husband and I just bought paddle boards, so we are going to go paddling with our dogs and hope that that goes well. So I want you to think about something that you're going to do this weekend for yourself. It could be something as simple as a cup of tea that you enjoy on your porch. It could be a treat, maybe something that you bake for yourself, maybe a yoga routine that you do on your own. Maybe it's drawing. Maybe it's a drawing that you're going to do or time that you're going to set aside for drawing. So you could draw your drawing materials. But for the prompt today, I want you to think about something this weekend that you're going to do for yourself that's fun, that's maybe restorative, maybe a little playful. And I want you to make that your inspiration for today's drawing prompt. So for those of you that are just joining, this is kind of just our little weekend kickoff kind of drawing prompt. I want you to think about something that you're going to do for yourself this weekend. something that maybe is a little bit of self-care, something a little restorative. So I'm going to start our timer. You can use that however you will. Lisa's mentioning that she needs a bike ride too, even though it's been really hot. Kind of try to go early if you can. I'm going to draw paddle boards that my husband and I are going to be taking out on the water. And I want you to draw something. I'm going to start our timer. I want you to draw something that represents something that you will do for yourself this weekend. Because I think right now, it's really important to take care of ourselves. There's a lot of change happening, a lot of upheaval, a lot of scary things happening too. And I think for us to continue to keep working through all of this, we have to take care of ourselves, right? Before we can take care of other people and help other people. So I want you all to think about this as the timer is going. And I just want you to think about what you can do for yourself this weekend. And it looks like Martine is saying that she did stand-up paddleboarding for the first time this week, and it's a lot of fun. It is so fun. I love it. And it's actually more stable than you'd think. I honestly feel more stable on a paddleboard than I do like in a canoe, which is surprising. For those of you that are just popping in, I want you all to draw something that represents something that you're going to do for yourself this weekend. So some sort of activity, whether it's self-care, something fun, something restorative, but I want you to think about what you can do this weekend for yourself. And for those of you that maybe have to work or have maybe a workshop going on tomorrow with Sketchbook School, maybe that's your activity. That's your restorative thing that you're going to do for yourself. But I want you to think about something that you could do for yourself this weekend. Something that's fun, that kind of evokes a sense of play, and something that'll, restore you so that you show up to your life on Monday morning and you are ready to rock and roll. It looks like Heather is talking about wanting to surf. Helene is saying that it's her 65th birthday today. So maybe, happy birthday, Helene. She's going to be doing some celebrating this weekend. Maybe she'll get to eat some cake or something like that. But for this drawing, we've got a couple minutes left. I just want you to focus on something that you can do for yourself this weekend. Something that'll evoke joy, something playful, or just something restful or restorative. Maybe it's a nap in a hammock. That sounds really great right about now. For me, it's going to be paddleboarding with our pups and my husband. That's going to be our fun thing for the weekend. We both have some work to do this weekend, but I think that we can still make time for something that's fun and something that is replenishing. Yes, Heather's saying cake. I hope that Helene gets some cake this morning. Stephanie is saying the workshop is going to be her self-care activity this weekend. I love that. I think setting aside time to make art and do something for yourself is a really good way to, take care of yourself and refill your well. So I just want you to think about that. For those of you just jumping in, what is something that you can do for yourself this weekend that will give you a little bit of a boost, kind of restore you, and get you ready to tackle the upcoming week. And also just get you ready to enjoy your weekend. I think during the drawing parties, Danny talked a lot about how we need to kind of mark the weekend somehow, even if our days are sort of all blurring together. And I've totally felt that way. So what is it that we can do this weekend to do something for ourselves? It looks like Erin is going to take a nice long Epsom salt bath. I think that sounds perfect. Perfect way to calm down and kind of ground yourself. So maybe Erin's going to be drawing a big old carton of Epsom salts. I love the lavender scented ones. They smell so good. So maybe Erin will pick something like that for her drawing. But for me, it's going to be paddle boards. I'm excited. We got our dog. Well, I don't know if those of you are still here with me, but it's kind of like YouTube gave me the cane to kick me off stage. But hopefully those of you that joined got to get a little drawing in. I'm going to turn off this silly timer. Sorry for the premature ending, and it looks like it's still buffering for some of you. But hopefully you all have a good weekend, for those of you that were able to hop back in and get some drawing done and have fun with those self-care activities. Thanks for joining, and we will see you next week. Also, I will see you for a sketchbook happy hour today at 3 p.m. Eastern. There are details about that in the SkoolYard events tab, so check that out. For those of you that want a little more work time to work on your drawings and your projects, you can join us for a Zoom Sketchbook happy hour session. Again, those details are in the SkoolYard, and hopefully I will see you there. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for those of you that found your way here. Once again, we had a little bit of a glitch, and I talked to my husband about upping our bandwidth, because both of us on the internet these days working from home clearly is causing a problem. But for those of you that are here still, hopefully I will catch you later. We've got a Sketchbook happy hour on Zoom at 3 p.m. Eastern today. So I hope you all can join, bring a project to work on. We'll listen to some jams, and it'll be a lot of fun. So look for the details in the SkoolYard. Thank you all for making your way back here. You guys are awesome at that. Putting up with my issues with the internet and the World Wide Web. But have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later.